How deep is the ocean actually? 94% of the vast majority of life forms on Earth are aquatic. It does sound pretty shocking to you, right? Well, it is also understandable why there are so many creatures that depend on water to survive. After all, water covers more than 70% of the surface of our planet. The Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic Oceans are all parts of the world's oceans. But did you know that only 5% of this vast water reserve has been explored by humans? This means that the remaining 95% are in the dark. So let's find out how deep our oceans are, which has also been a question that people have been asking for ages. To understand the depths of an ocean, we'll have to study each ocean's depths to determine the answer to our question. In order to make oceanographic studies easier, the ocean has currently been divided into different zones based on depth from the surface. Nearly 97% of the water on Earth is found in the ocean, which also covers more than 70% of its surface. It is a sizable, continuous body of saltwater that is roughly 361.9 million square kilometers in size. Oceanographers estimate that less than 20% of its surface has been explored. The Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and Arctic are the 5 main basins that make up the entire world's oceans, although there is only one ocean overall. Experts have also divided the world ocean into different zones based on depth from the surface for ease of oceanographic studies, with an average depth of 3,700 meters. Depending on how far light travels, the ocean is divided into different zones: the sunlight zone, the twilight zone, and the deep ocean. The deep ocean is often divided into 3 layers called the midnight zone, the abyss, and the trenches. Now let's start with the ocean sunlight zone. This sunlight zone, also known as the surface zone or epipelagic zone, extends down 200 meters, or roughly 5% of the average depth of the ocean, and is appropriately named for its location at the surface. It is referred to as the sunlight zone because the sun practically completely illuminates it at noon. It is also known as the warmest layer of the ocean depths. This layer can also produce heat as it receives a lot of natural light and wind that causes heat waves to reach deeper waters. The epipelagic zone can reach a maximum temperature of 97 degrees Fahrenheit or a minimum temperature of 28 degrees, depending on the location. This layer receives enough sunlight for algae to use photosynthesis, which produces about 50% of the oxygen in our atmosphere. You will also find many different species of animals, including whales, dolphins, sharks, or other aquatic life that will frequently breach the ocean surface. This is also known as the surface zone, as it is where most commercial fishing occurs. But now let's go even deeper into the ocean twilight zone. The mesopelagic zone, also known as the twilight zone, covers a depth range of 200 meters to 1,000 meters, or about 20% of the total depth of the ocean. Despite the fact that the area is typically very dark at midday, it does get a tiny bit of sunlight, just enough for photosynthesis to take place. This part of the ocean actually plays a significant role in maintaining the balance of our planet. It absorbs about 25% of the carbon dioxide that people produce and pushes it down into the deep ocean, where it cannot be released back into the atmosphere. Although this second layer is teeming with aquatic life, unlike the surface zone, it has largely escaped commercial fishing. Additionally, experts first discovered the existence of bioluminescent creatures in the mesopelagic zone. This area experiences the most drastic temperature changes, partly because of the thermocline, a zone of transition where warmer water rapidly decreases in temperature. If we go even deeper, we will reach the deep ocean. Now, regardless of how deep the ocean floor is, the deep ocean is the last layer of the ocean, as it starts at the 1,000 meter mark. It accounts for at least 75% of the depth of the ocean. In this part of the ocean, there is no natural light at all, and it is also very frigid. The inhabitants of this zone are bioluminescent, which means that they generate and emit their own light. You'll find several species of life form here, like plankton, jellyfish, squid, and the dreadful barreled dragonfish. These species can detect each other's presence because they have light-sensitive eyes and live in complete darkness. But let's not forget that we have further divided the deep ocean into 3 sections: the trenches, the abyss, and the midnight zone. Since they are also part of the deep ocean and vary in depth, we must include them. A fun fact, we've explored just 1% of the deep ocean. Into the first section of the deep ocean, we have the ocean midnight zone. According to the three-layer model, the first third of the deep ocean is made up of the midnight zone, also referred to as the bathypelagic zone. It extends from 1,000 meters to 4,000 meters below the surface, or roughly the average depth of the world's oceans. The temperature, which generally stays at 39 degrees Fahrenheit, rarely changes. As previously mentioned, bioluminescent animals in this area use their ability to hunt or find a mate. They use their own light instead of the sun's light. Other species found in this zone spend days or even their entire lives without any light. A few marine animals like sperm whales swim this far down to the ocean floor to feed. The bathypelagic zone, which is 15 times larger than the epipelagic zone, is actually thought to be the largest ecosystem on the entire planet. In the second section of the deep ocean, we have the abyss. The middle layer of the deep ocean is known as the abyss or the abyssopelagic zone. It was given the name the abyss because it literally means that it has no bottom. Abyss is a word that is derived from Greek origin. The zone is true to its name, as there was a time when people thought the ocean was an endless abyss. It goes from 4,000 meters to 6,000 meters below sea level, which is the seafloor in some parts of the world. Though we don't really know how the actual depth of this part, we can assume it is what it is. The water never gets warmer than a few degrees above freezing. Only a small number of animals, like invertebrates, can withstand the intense pressure in the abyssopelagic zone, where there is a startling lack of life. And finally, the last section of the deep ocean, we have the trenches. This is practically the deepest section of the ocean as we know it. It is called the trenches or the hadopelagic zone. In regions of the world where that is physically possible, it extends beyond the abyssopelagic zone. Typically, this takes the form of deep-sea trenches and canyons. One illustration of such a wonder is the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean, which at 11,034 meters is also the deepest point on Earth. This part would also completely submerge Mount Everest if it were placed at the bottom. The pressure in this zone is equivalent to roughly the weight of 48 Boeing 747 aircrafts. Any human in this part of the ocean would definitely rupture their lungs. But even then, life does exist in this zone. The Abyssobrotula galete, which is a species of eel, was discovered at 8,372 meters in the Puerto Rico Trench in 1970. And now, finally, the answer to the question, how deep is the ocean? With an average depth of 4,280 meters and a maximum depth of 10,911 meters, the Pacific Ocean is the deepest ocean and body of water in the world. It contains the deepest point of Earth, called the Challenger Deep, which goes to 10,928 meters below sea level, as well as the deepest point in the southern hemisphere, the Horizon Deep, which is 10,823 meters below sea level. The average depth of the Atlantic Ocean, which reaches a maximum depth of 8,376 meters below sea level, is 3,646 meters, making it the third deepest ocean overall. The Atlantic Ocean's deepest point is the Puerto Rico Trench, which is close to the Caribbean Sea. The Indian Ocean is the second deepest ocean in terms of average depth, with a depth of 3,741 meters. It also holds the Java Trench, which is located near Sumatra Island. It reaches about 7,258 meters below sea level, making it the deepest point in the Indian Ocean. The Southern Ocean, the world's southernmost ocean, has an average depth of 3,270 meters, making it the fourth deepest ocean in the world. Its deepest point is 7,236 meters. The deepest part of the ocean is called the South Sandwich Trench. The Arctic Ocean, which has a maximum depth of 5,450 meters and an average depth of 1,204 meters, is the smallest and shallowest ocean. The deepest point of the ocean is called the Malloy Hole, and it is in the Fram Strait. The ocean, a vast body of water, covers a larger portion of the surface of the Earth than land. However, skilled oceanographers have been able to separate it into different layers. Although there are some similarities between the concepts of 3 and 5 layers, especially in the first 2 layers, this is focused on the distinctive qualities of each zone. Even though the ocean is still one of the most enigmatic places on our tiny blue planet, breakdowns like this give us a better understanding of its breathtaking beauty. I hope you enjoyed this video, so hit like and share buttons if you do like our content. You can also subscribe to our channel for more videos like these. Thank you for watching.